Hi everyone, welcome back. Nicole here with Edge of Wild. Today I have been working on making seed tape to start my carrots. So this is something new that I'm trying this year. I did a bunch of research on it. I'm trying to figure out how I can plant my carrots and not have to worry about thinning quite so much. A lot of times what I've found works best for me is to sprinkle a whole bunch of carrot seeds in a row, cover it with dirt, make sure to water them really good until they're up and going really well. Problem is, carrots take a while to germinate, so you can't really weed in there because you're not 100% sure what's the carrot, what's a weed. And then you end up with a really thick row of carrots, and it's harder to thin them at that point. If you don't thin them, then you end up with smaller carrots or disformed carrots, or you go through a whole bunch more carrot seed than you really need to. So this year I'm going to try seed tape. I also, like I said, really want to avoid being bent over and thinning all of them this year. So what you need to make seed tape: toilet paper, 2-ply works. 1-ply works awesome for this, so you really don't have to go out and buy anything special. But I found like the quilted brand that has like pretty much all 2-plies like quilted together, so it's harder to get it to like pull into a single-ply sheet. So I did end up buying some cheap single-ply toilet paper. You're going to rip it into lengths of which you need. I went out and measured where I'm putting my carrots. It's about 48 inches, so about 4 feet. And then I have about 64 inches. I have about 64 inches to work with. So I kind of figured out how I'm going to space my strips, and then went from there. Decided to make a total of 16 strips. That's a lot of carrots. It's probably way more carrots than I need, but I'm going to try it. I don't think I'm going through any more seed doing this. Just maybe a little bit more time. So hopefully they germinate well. What you also are going to need: carrot seeds, a straw, water, flour, container, obviously, and a spoon to mix everything. I recommend, at this point, just from doing it, so it's equal parts flour and water. It's whatever. If you decide 2 tablespoons of flour, then it's 2 tablespoons of water. Pretty easy. You're making like a thin, almost like a thin pancake mix, and that's just acting as glue to hold the seed in place, and also once you fold the toilet paper over, kind of hold that second layer together. I would rather at this point put the flour into the glass instead of in a bowl, and then with the straw you can do the pipette method where you just kind of put your finger, you put the straw down into the liquid, put your finger on top, and then you've held some of that liquid into the straw. I actually find it better to very carefully, and I mean very carefully, suck up on the straw so that you fill the straw most of the way with, most of the way to the top with your mixture, and then just go through and dot all the way down. It's a lot faster than having to redot into the liquid. However, flour and water is not a great combination to actually manage to drink through a straw. Trust me. Once you have those combined, put together, you're just going to put drops down along the toilet paper. You are going to end up folding this toilet paper in half. So you don't put it right in the middle. You pretty much, if you were to fold it in half, you'd put it in the middle of that strip. So not quite all the way on the edge, but about a quarter of the way up onto it. You're going to put a strip of those glue dots down. Then you're going to put a seed or 2 seeds each, depending what you want. And then from there, you'll fold it over. When you're putting the glue dots down, you kind of have a couple different options. I've spaced some of them farther apart so they're spaced roughly at what I want my carrots at. And then the other option is to put them which carrots usually you want them about 2 inches apart at the end. Or you can put them about 1 inch to a 1/2 inch apart. You're still gonna have some thinning, but you're guaranteeing not having as many blank spots as you possibly could have, spacing them out more. Because I'm doing so many, I'm not quite as concerned about having, you know, a blank spot or two. The benefit of not having blank spots really comes in weeding. So if you're limited on space, you're able to grow more in that space. Just going through and thinning out, you know, less than 1/3, I'd say like 1/8 of what you would have to thin out if you sprinkle them in the row. And if you actually pack them in pretty good so they end up with proper spacing, the canopy of the plant will grow over, and then you'll have less weeds to deal with, which is also really nice. So up to you as to how you put the spacing on. This is something that you can do in the winter. It's not like you have to do this and then run out and plant them. You can do it in the wintertime when it's cold. You let them dry, and then you roll up the seed tape rolls, and they're good to store until you're ready to plant that spring. Slightly older children, this is a good task that you can have them put the glue dots or drop the seeds on. So something you can include your kids in as well. My kids are far too young. They're still a lot of chaos. They are not ready to be doing this, but I'm gonna get started. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add my flour to my water. I'm trying to make a huge mess like I always do with flour. Mix it together. And like I said, it's gonna make a paste. That's what your goal is, to make a paste. If you need to thin it out, don't be afraid to do that too. Okay. And then you're going to take your straw. So you hold your finger on top once you got it mostly full. And then you're just going to start making drops on your toilet paper. Okay, now that we have our seeds put in every single spot, we're going to fold this toilet paper in half. So we're going to grab this far corner down here and this corner here, and we're just kind of going to pull the middle up tight like this. And make sure we fold down over the top, and then very gently kind of press and pat down. I press down on every seed, make sure we kind of have it locked into place. And there, that one is set. So now you let it sit and dry, kind of where it is. Don't move it around. Once it's dry, they're really easy to pick up. Come right off the counter, and you can label them with either what seed type they are, what variety they are. So like I'm only doing carrots. Some people do beets, radishes, small stuff that they can put out, cabbage, things like that. Kale, lettuce seeds. Lettuce seeds would be a really good one to do it with. The carrots that I'm doing are the romance carrots, which are just a good summer harvest variety. They don't store super long, but I will probably freeze them. And then the Berlot carrots, which are a storage carrot. Both are orange, medium length carrots. I'm hoping the ground has been, it was carrots last year. I'm hoping it's kind of worked up enough that the carrots are able to grow down, get good size, and then if I have better spacing, we'll have better shaped carrots. So I'm going to get started on this next one, and that'll be the last one that I have to do, and I'll show you how to roll them up. So you can see here the importance of why I say 1-ply toilet paper, because if you were to fold over 2-ply toilet paper, you now have 2 layers that the seed has to get through in order to reach the top. When you have that much resistance on the seed, sometimes it makes the seed shoot sideways, or it just deforms the seed and it can't break through when it's trying to germinate. So you want something rather thin for that to come through. And this 1-ply toilet paper that breaks down really easily when wet shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so I finished those. I've moved over to another spot so I can let those dry on the counter. And I'm going to take one that I already have prepared. You can see the seeds in there. And, I mean, you have options. I labeled them so I know what variety they are. You could really just fold them and hang them depending how long you're going to wait. If you want to use them like seed tape, you can roll them. Just going to roll it back up like it's toilet paper again. And then you can put them in storage and you'll have this nice little, roll it all the way up. And I have it labeled with a B. Then it's good to store. Rolled up just like that, and then you can put it in the ground. So when you're going to plant it outside, you're going to unroll it again. Take and scoot the dirt aside in your row. Put this down. Lightly put a light layer of dirt over the top, same way you would with if you were actually just planting the carrot seeds. Water it in. This is all going to dissolve. Now, the one thing I would say that I'm going to do, you can kind of see what side has the seed. I don't think you can see it as much on there, but you can see in person what side has the seed on top, and then what side has kind of your paste on the bottom. I would put the paste side down myself, just so that the seed can easily break up out of the paper and then come up above to start growing leaves, to grow the energy, to grow the root. I have faith that the root can get back through the flour mixture. I'd be more concerned about the top of it not being able to grow through and get that energy. So at this point, I'm going to get these all picked up, labeled, wait for the rest of them to dry. I think what I'm going to do, honestly, is I'm just going to fold them, because my intentions, grand intentions, are to plant them Friday evening. We're supposed to have rain over the weekend and overcast. Cooler temperatures, but nothing that I'm worried about. Carrot seeds don't care about cool temperatures. They're more than happy with that. Actually, they kind of prefer it. It can take carrots up to 3 weeks to germinate, so it may take a while. But if it's raining and there's moisture, I don't have to do as much with watering, which is what I like. We're not supposed to have any, super heavy rainfalls from what I see, but we definitely are supposed to have moisture throughout the weekend. That'll give them a good start, and then I can pick up with any day that we don't have moisture, water them in the morning and at night, If we have a crazy hot sunny day again, I would probably water in the middle of the day if I'm home. It usually just kind of helps to keep that seed moist while it's germinating. But carrots, I would say, are not, I wouldn't call them a beginner-friendly crop. They're fun, but they are very challenging to germinate and get a really good system going on. So I can't say that I would call them beginner-friendly. As a beginner, I've had the most luck just sprinkling them in a trench. So we will see how this does for me this year. Like I said, I'm excited for it, but I don't know if I'm going to have the very best luck with it. That I can't guarantee anyone yet. So follow along and see how that goes for me. I'm going to get all these picked up. I hope you have a wonderful week. I'm hopefully going to be able to start putting some stuff in the ground. And I will bring you along for all of that as we go through the season. I think it's actually getting to be gardening time. Now that said, we can't get too carried away because it was 27 degrees this morning with a hard frost. I did have all of my seedlings in the garage, so nothing to worry about there. The peas are just coming up, radishes are up, and the spinach is up, but none of that all could have cared less. So, okay, we will see you in the next one.